If you're being overrun by zucchinis like I am, then you're going to want to stick around because tonight we're having zucchini for dinner. I am making a delicious ratatouille with some zucchini patties from my Kidlicious cookbook that add crunch and protein to the meal. It's going to be a fantastic dinner that your whole family is going to love. So the ratatouille only takes a few minutes to get together. So let's start on the zucchini patties. The first thing we need to do is shred our zucchini. So to shred the zucchini, you can use a good old-fashioned grater, but because I'm shredding so much zucchini today, I am going to use my food processor. I love my Cuisinart food processor. All right, so to use the food processor, you have to chop the zucchini up into sizes that will fit into this little trap door here. So I'm just going to do my best to guess on what that's going to be. And we are going to shred this up. Now, if I have leftover shredded zucchini, if I shred all this up, I don't need it all for my zucchini patties. I will make a chocolate zucchini cake that is out of this world. It's my mama's chocolate zucchini cake, and you are going to love that. Let's see if I have enough zucchini to do that with. All right, there we go. So let's shred our zucchini. Nice thing about this Cuisinart food processor is it is easy to use, and you don't have to worry about hurting yourself with it like you do sometimes. I always grate my finger when I'm using that grater. So the one thing you have to watch out for is you don't overfill your food processor. So let's see if it's about to empty out. All right, I think it's time to empty this out. Get rid of our extra little pieces. One thing you're going to want to do is get some moisture out of that. So I am going to a little salt on it, and so the moisture will start coming out. Let's grab the salt. I'm going to put a little salt on this and give it a stir. Let's set that off to the side, and we'll do the rest of this zucchini. Oops, I had the blade. Silly. Okay. Put the blade back in, and then up top, chef thing. All right, we made fast work of that zucchini. Okay, so we've got our zucchini chopped or shredded. 2 onions. Instead of chopping these, I'm going to just put them right through the food processor. They'll be shredded just like our zucchinis, and so they will be super small. Those onion haters that you have at your house won't notice that they're there. So let's go ahead and do this. You can almost put the whole onion in here, I think. Like so. I need to do 2 of them, so let's do 2. I think I peeled the onion the hard way today. There we go, got it. Split that in half. We'll move this sticker in here. This one. And shred that up real quick. We have our shredded onion ready to go. Let's put our onion in a bowl for later. All right, I need to clean up my space for just a quick minute, and then we will mix up our zucchini patties. All right, I think I got our little area cleaned up, and we can start making our zucchini patties. So the first thing we need to do, again, is to get some water out of this. I'm going to use my tofu towel to get water out of my zucchini, just like I get water out of my tofu. So I'm just going to lay it out here, and I am going to just spread my zucchini out over the towel. That's a lot of zucchini, isn't it? All right, we'll spread it out, and then we'll wrap it up. And just give it a quick. Okay, I'm just going to set this aside while it dries out, and I'm going to get all the ingredients together for the zucchini patties. We need to start with 2.5 to 3 cups of quick oats. And this is 3 cups, so I'm not going to use the whole thing. It depends on how moist your zucchinis are, how much of this you're going to use. So I'm going to put some of my quick oats in. So the zucchini patty recipe calls for chopped nuts. So while I still have my zucchini, while I still have my food processor, I'm going to chop up my nuts. I typically use cashew nuts in the recipe, but I don't have cashew nuts, and I've used mixed nuts before, so I'm just going to go ahead and add some mixed nuts to this. I'm just going to give it a quick chop. You want it to be chunky, but not too chunky. That looks about right. Okay, now we have our 2½ cups of quick oats in the bowl, along with our cup of mixed nuts, or cashew nuts. You could use walnuts, you could use any kind of nut here you like. These are roasted and salted. You don't have to use roasted and salted nuts, but I do like the flavor. It adds a nice something to the patties. We have 5 tablespoons of this McKay's chicken style seasoning. This is the powdered no chicken bouillon. I will put a link in the description box below. 4, 5. It is a little expensive on Amazon. You can typically get it at health food stores so you can look for that. So that's our 5 tablespoons of chicken style seasoning. We need a teaspoon of salt. There we go. We can taste it as we go. And oops. And then I have some vital wheat gluten. This is pure protein from wheat. And that's going to hold everything together and also add protein to the recipe. I am now adding 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast flakes. Now this has like a nice cheesy flavor, a savory flavor. If you don't have nutritional yeast, I will put a link in the description box below. It's one of those things you're going to want to buy as a new plant-based eater because it's in so many different recipes. It adds so much flavor. So definitely go ahead and buy that one. I'm going to give that a stir. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the zucchini and the shredded onions to this. And the onions. And I'm going to add in 4½ cups of zucchini. So let's get our zucchini out. Let's dump it into the bowl so we can measure it easier. All right, there we go. I need 4½ cups. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4½ And it looks like we're going to have plenty of zucchini left over for that chocolate cake, so we'll give that a try here in a few minutes. Alright, so let's mix this together. I think I'm going to end up using my hands for this because it'll be much easier to get it done. So let's go ahead and mix this up. I'm going to make sure the onions get all dispersed so they're not all in one spot. I'm going to make sure the seasonings get mixed in. And once it's all mixed up, we'll see if they hold together. If they don't, we'll add some more of the, if they're too wet, we'll go ahead and add some more of that quick oats. Okay, these look really good. I think they're ready. Let's see how they hold together. Oh yeah, they're going to be good. So then you make up your zucchini patties. Let's go ahead and make these into patties and put them on a tray. I like to line my pan with parchment paper because I do not like to have to scrub these metal pans when I'm done. I'm also going to grab a cookie scoop. So you can either make really big patties or medium-sized patties. It depends on what you're using them for. So let's make a few of each and let's see which one we like better. So I like to smash them into the thingy and then I flatten them out like that. This looks like the perfect size patty for the side dish for our ratatouille. So let's go ahead and make the rest of these. are virtually oil-free. They have some fat from the nuts, but that's it. So they're super healthy. They're all vegetables, some whole grains in there. So we're gonna have about a dozen of these large patties, and if you wanted to make the smaller patty, you can get a lot more. But for my purposes tonight, the dozen is gonna be great. I am going to bake this batch, and then I'll bake the second batch. Let's put these in a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes, and then we're gonna flip them over and do it again. While those are baking, let's go ahead and make the ratatouille. I've got the water for the pasta started, and I just need to chop up some more zucchini and some tomatoes. And once I get those chopped up and some fresh basil, we are going to put this together in a jiffy. I am going to use this handy chopper for my zucchinis and also for my tomatoes. It works great. It has two different size blades. This is the larger size blade, and I love it for making everything the same size. It looks nice, and it's easier to eat. If you don't have one, I recommend getting one because it makes your chopping go faster. Again, I do a lot of chopping on Sundays, and so I get it all done in a jiffy, and it looks great. You can even have your kids help you with your chopping when you have that. So let's add some oil to the pan, and then we will go ahead and add in some of the onions and peppers that I chopped up on Sunday. Now you see these are the smaller dices. I use the smaller blade for these. Now I'm just going to cook those a little bit until they are softened. So let's give that a quick stir. And I'm also going to add just a little bit of salt to these onions and peppers because that will help them to soften up a little quicker. It helps them start release the water, and that'll help them to cook down a little quicker. Once those are soft, we are going to go ahead and add in some garlic. I like a lot of garlic in my ratatouille, so I put in quite a bit. I'm using minced garlic from the grocery store, but you can mince your own garlic if you'd like. Go ahead and put in our zucchini. And give that a stir, and also add in our tomatoes. Now these are fresh tomatoes from the garden, but you can use store-bought tomatoes if you don't have garden tomatoes, but this is the great recipe to use up all those garden vegetables that you have in abundance this time of year. We're going to add a little bit of more salt for the tomatoes and the zucchinis. Now I'm going to add a little bit of dried oregano. When using herbs in cooking, it's best to use dried herbs at the beginning process while it's cooking so those oils and things have a chance to develop while you're cooking. But when you're using fresh herbs, you're going to do those at the end. So I'm going to add a bunch of basil, fresh basil at the end of cooking, and then it will not lose its flavor having cooked so long. If you have a meat eater in your family and you need this to be a little heartier, you can add some vegetarian Italian sausage. There are lots of brands on the market that are really good. You can just saute those up separately and then add them at the end of the cooking time. It's time to add the basil, and we can give it a stir and turn off the heat, and it will cook down quickly in the residual heat of the ratatouille. Our zucchini patties are ready and out of the oven. I'm going to serve those with my ratatouille over pasta. Need to grab a spatula. Look at that nice crispy patty. It goes so great with the pasta. And remember, if you don't want to have to cook 2 meals and you've got a meat eater in your family, why don't you try adding some of this vegetarian Italian sausage to the ratatouille? I don't think your family's going to know that it's vegetarian, but if you do have someone who's super picky, then you can add the Italian sausage at the end, save some out for yourself, and then add the Italian sausage just into the portion for the meat eaters in your family. That way you can enjoy your meal together. Let's give this a try. I like to have a little bit of the ratatouille and the zucchini patty together. That's the perfect bite. Another way you can serve these zucchini patties is dip them into tomato sauce. They make a great little snack, especially if you make small ones. You just take it and you dip it in tomato sauce. It's so good. So make sure you subscribe and click the notification bells for some more family dinners. Check out this one right here.